So, you know how much of a Doctor Who fan I am? I mean, I've made so many videos of me playing like Doctor Who games like Destiny of the Doctors, The Eternity Clock, and Doctor Who adventure games. I've even played The Lonely Assassins, The Edge of Reality. Like, I've played all of these sort of Doctor Who games to show you that I am a huge Doctor Who fan. So, I have found a video in which someone sort of criticizes one of my favourite Doctor Who specials, stories, whatever you like to call it, and that Doctor Who special or story or whatever is called The Five Doctors. And this person criticises it in a video called Everything Wrong with the Five Doctors. So this video is going to be titled Everything Wrong with Everything Wrong with the Five Doctors. And you know what? This kind of idea, I kind of take a little bit of inspiration from one of my favourite Doctor Who channels, JXE. They have done videos in the past saying everything wrong with this thing, like Marvel films or whatever. So I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from them just because it's this type of like video that I'm gonna be responding to in a way. I mean, again, what I want to say is I don't think anything they say in this is like actually, serious. I think it's just all for fun, But if everything they say in this is like serious, like I am going to be sort of criticizing them, but I'm gonna do it in a fun way. So I'm not like making this video to say that whatever they say in this critique is like bad or they just don't understand what's going on. I am just going to respond to it saying how I feel, and I'm just going to do it in a sort of fun way, of course. And the reason why I am making this video is not because I want to, get views just because I'm doing this sort of thing, but because I want to share my sort of opinion on what he is talking about, what they are talking about, because I don't even know if they are he, she, or whatever. So let's go ahead and start. And of course they use the tune, just like what CinemaSins does, and also in the description of the video, they say that they are not CinemaSins, but they are using the exact same format. And to that I say, how dare you? Not only are they using the CinemaSins format, but you know what? Whilst we go through this video, I'm gonna share what I mean, as in why I don't like them using the CinemaSins format.
Sepia tone. Also using sepia tone to avoid the appearance of black and white for some reason.
Okay, so this first one, using sepia tone to avoid the appearance of black and white for some reason. I mean, I don't know if in the original version of the Five Doctors I can't remember if it was in the original version that they use sepia tone or in the updated version they use sepia tone, but I think that they did actually use the black and white version in the updated one. I'm not entirely sure why they use the sepia tone in the original broadcast, but it's just decisions back then at the end of the day,
One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties.
You never went back for Susan, ass, and when you do meet up again, the two of you are forced together.
Okay, right. First of all, yes, he did not go back for Susan, and yes, they are kind of forced together, but the whole point of bringing Susan back for the Five Doctors was because it's a celebration thing. Like, yes, it's a story, and you technically do need a reason for a companion to come back, but it's a celebration story, and I think because it's a celebration story, you can kind of overlook it, but I can understand why you would say that they are forced together, because, well, I mean, if you've seen the Five Doctors, you can kind of tell they were kind of forced together.
creative episode titles. Also, inaccurate episode titles.
I mean, yes. I mean, it is kind of, oh my god, he goes super, super fast. This is one thing I don't like about the CinemaSins format. They go super fast only because, like, they are doing it in under, like, 17 or 16 minutes. Like, they're trying to do it under a time frame. Why? Just why? Are you just picking out a reason just to talk really fast or something that people have to pause and go back and really read themselves? I mean, yes, people can just pause that, but sometimes people are a little bit lazy. Like me. So the 5 Doctors, also inaccurate episode titles. Yeah, kinda inaccurate. Yes, I mean, even though the story is called The 5 Doctors, but technically it's actually The 4 Doctors, because you got like John Pertwee, you got Patrick Troughton, you got William Hartnell, and you've got Peter Davison. You also have Tom Baker, but Tom Baker doesn't actually interact with the other Doctors. The other Doctors interact with the other Doctors, but not Tom Baker, because he's sort of trapped in the sort of time thingamajig. And the reason for that is because he did not want to come back for this special. Not entirely sure why he didn't want to come back, but he didn't. Unless I'm getting that wrong. I think I fondly remember that Tom Baker did not want to come back. And he wanted to do sort of photo shoots, the sort of behind the scenes photo shoots for Doctor Who, but he never turned up for them, so that's why these sort of photo shoots of the individual Doctors together look so uncanny. Like, look at Tom Baker in this photo. It looks like Tom Baker, but it just looks so strange. It looks uncanny, and that is because that Tom Baker is actually a waxworks version, so like a plastic version of Tom Baker. That's why it looks so uncanny. Well, I mean, it might look bad, but for me it looks uncanny. It looks weird, so yeah.
AKA not Robert Holmes. And yes, I understand the importance of Terrance Dicks to the Doctor Who canon, but it.
Again, it happens super, super, super quickly. I hate it so much, but okay. Robert Holmes. Oh yeah, Terrance Dicks. Yeah, Terrance Dicks is like a huge part of Doctor Who. I think you know what? I should know this, but I can't confirm it. Well, I don't know. You know what? We're gonna skip this one.
Why would he need to polish a new console? Also, this is the
Well, how can you tell us a new console? Like, what? Well, also, this is the literal equivalent of polishing a turd. Are you calling the console shit? But yeah, going back, how can you even tell this is a new console? I mean, yeah, it kind of looks shiny, but, due to the camera quality, you can't really tell it's a new console, can you?
Finished?
Tegan.
Okay, so just because Tegan's there, it's a sin.
Kids everywhere would be doing that to their NESs in 2 years. Also, hitting faulty machinery makes it work cliche. Turla.
Yes. Just hitting something and it working. Maybe it's just a sort of funny way of saying, oh yeah, people do this all the time. Bam. Yes, it is a cliche, but what are you gonna do about it, mate?
Turla. The super bright, peaceful eye of
What?
mine
See, this is just what makes it so funny for me, is that, like, just people being there, that's a sin. Again, I'm pretty sure that these people, this person is just, having fun with the whole CinemaSins format. But, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, because, like, what I know of the CinemaSins themselves is that, like, some things they just do it for jokey sake, and some things that they do say in their sort of critique, they do seriously say, like an actual proper critique. So it's sort of like half and half. So one side of it is just, jokes here and there because, entertainment, and the other side is actual critiques. And some of their critiques is a bit questionable, but I do like that they're using the CinemaSins format here. I just do not like how they have to be really fast with what they're saying so that you have to go back, because it's sometimes a little bit of an effort just to go back and anyway.
It's like Earth after a thunderstorm.
Same cause and reason.
Oh, fuck off. Also, the Eye of a...
No, I will not fuck.
These are clearly buildings and those are clearly roads.
What? Okay, let's just go back.
These are clearly buildings and those are clearly roads.
Wait, there's a clearly roads. Are they though? I mean, it kind of looks like sort of like a black line, but how are they clearly roads? I mean, if you can maybe say, oh, they look kind of like roads, I'd be fine with that. But you're saying they are clearly roads. No, how can you even tell from that? Like, is your brain like super ultra high intelligent or something? Like, no.
Face hidden bad guy in the dark cliche. I know.
Face hidden by a dark. Wait, what did it just say? Face hidden bad guy in the dark cliche. Okay. So the old cliche of face hidden, basically in the dark, and bad guy. Okay. Yes, it's a cliche. It's not a sin.
I know he's dead, but this isn't William Hartnell.
Yes. Yes, it's very clear that it's not William Hartnell, because, William Hartnell is dead. So you want them to do, like, so much work just to, like, CGI a William Hartnell face onto something Herndl. I can't remember his first name, but William Herndl? No, Richard Herndl, maybe? Richard? I don't know what his first name is, but I know that the surname is Herndl. So you want William Hartnell's face to be CGI'd onto there. No, just get someone else to play as him in a way, because they recasted William Hartnell as, I'm pretty sure it's Richard Herndl anyway, I don't actually remember, but the fact that it's not William Hartnell, it gets us in. Cool! At what point in the time would the first Doctor be travelling alone? I mean, yes, he travels a lot with his companions in, like, the first few series he has, but he has a TARDIS. Like, he can go anywhere, anytime. There's bound to be, at some point throughout his tenure, that he has been alone. You can't just say, all because he travels with his companions a lot, that he does not have adventures, or he does not travel by himself, like, ever. You can't say that.
In which case, where could he be that he would allow himself to be separated from, most likely?
Most likely Ben and Polly. Again, you're just assuming that. You know what? I'm not even going to comment on that one.
Wait, what's that? Oh no, it's a triangle! Why did...
I mean, I can understand that, like, being scared by a triangle is, like, very, very unlikely. But wait, does he actually show anything else other than the
An
triangle?
advanced race of time-traveling aliens rendered the time scoop device as a two-dimensional triangle? Or, if Barusa created it, why did he make it this way?
No, he does not. Okay, because, like, in the actual, like, Five Doctors story itself, there, like, the sort of triangle, like, takes the triangle takes the person, obviously, and inside the triangle, it's like a distorted image of the person that is taken, and in all honesty, I think that's more eerie and creepy than the new updated effect of the sort of 3D time scoop. That's what it's called. I just think that it looks more creepy. But that's just me.
Wonderful chap. All of them.
No, all of him. There are multiple doctors, but he's the same person.
Yes, there are multiple doctors. Yes, he is the same person. But the Brigadier has seen them both on screen. Like, literally, he has seen them both in the same room. That is why he says all of them. I cannot stress this enough. I know that it's technically more applicable to say them now because, you know, a woman has played the Doctor, but it still is the fact that he has seen both of the Doctors in the exact same room together. It counts if you say all of them. Because there's multiple Doctors, he's seen them in the same... Moving on.
I'm sorry, sir, you're not allowed in there. Not allowed? Me?
When in the second Doctor's timeline would he be traveling alone?
Again. You can't just assume that he does not ever travel alone just because he travels with fucking companions all the time. There is bound to be at some point in his timeline that he has travelled alone. You cannot just assume that he doesn't. Stop! Okay. Rant over. Moving on.
You've had this place redecorated, haven't you? Don't like it.
Who was that strange little man?
The Doctor.
Who?
You were just talking about him.
Just because he was talking about him, talking to him, doesn't mean he knows who he is. I mean, I'm sure that you've talked to a number of people. Doesn't mean that you know who they are.
Yes. Yeti, Cybermen, we've seen some times, Doctor.
And Omega. Don't forget Omega.
As if I could.
And the terrible Zodin.
Ooh.
Oh, you weren't concerned with her, were you?
This series has an awful habit of talking about we never get to see, and the event most often brought up is about the terrible Zodin. To this day, we have no idea what it is or what happened regarding it.
You know what? To be fair, I somewhat agree. Because, yeah, I mean, like, we've seen the sort of Cybermen and Omega. But yeah, Zodin, that part did actually confuse me when I watched it. But it's just one of those things that, like, the Doctor says, and you kind of overlook it because it's what the Doctor says, and he just brings out these stuff because, you know, it's the Doctor. Like, if you look too much into the stuff, like, you're going to be lost no matter what you do. So, just overlook it. Simple as that.
Don't you just love these photos?
Oh, it actually shows it. Holy crap. I did not actually realize that he actually showed it. Wow, you know what? Consider me starstruck. Oh my god, look at those triangles there. And look at these sort of distorted image. And like,
Just love these.
like, this is what I mean. That's what I like. Because, oh, you know what? That image right there, that kind of is a tiny bit haunting. And you can understand why I like it now.
Don't you just love these photos?
Yes, I do, in fact.
Attaching themselves like melting icebergs. Ha!
Don't you hate it when people's pasts are being affected, but all this drama is unnecessary because we all know what happens in the end, rendering this drama moot?
I mean, yes, I can understand what you say, but even if, like, you know what happens in the end and it renders it, you know, unnecessary, but in the grand scheme of things, just because you know what's going to happen doesn't make it any less fun. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, we get a musical cue.
How dare you make fun
of the music. If I hear one more mock of the music, one more critique of the music like that, I will fucking...
Mistress, do not go out.
If you didn't know that Sarah Jane and K9 were supposed to have a spin-off together, this moment is confusing as they didn't spend any time together on the show.
I mean, yes, that is true, But I mean, this basically shows that K9 and Company is kind of canon. Even though I haven't actually seen K9 and Company myself, I mean, I might actually watch it at some point, but knowing that this actually does happen in the show, it shows that K9 and Company is canon. And if you don't watch it, then yeah, you will get confused by this. But if you watch K9 and Company, you simply won't get confused by this.
Kind of danger. Positive data not yet available.
What good are you then?
Well, now I know.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you criticize K9 like that? How dare you?
Episode titled The Five Doctors does not feature a Tom Baker. I don't care that not being part of this episode is one of his biggest regrets. It deserves 10 sins.
You know what? I'll give you that one.
That being said, it's time to bring up these abysmal promo pics.
Ah, yes. Yeah, now you know exactly what I was talking about.
To bring up these abysmal...
Like, I mean, yes, they're kind of abysmal in a way, but it's still uncanny to the bone that, Tom Baker is supposed to be there, but like, just that smile. Oh my God. Like, I don't know why I find it so uncanny. I just do. It's just, I like it that it's uncanny, but I don't like it that it's uncanny. I just, oh my God. Even this one's like one of my favorites. And it's uncanny at best. Like, just look at that smile from Tom Baker.
Oh my fucking God, we get it! The doctor knew where to go, somehow.
Or maybe the Time Lords helped him? Yeah, that's a bit of a reach.
With all due respect, Lord President, your regeneration has not helped your stubbornness.
Why did Barusa regenerate?
Why does that matter? Like, you don't need a reason for every single Time Lord in existence to regenerate, do you? Like, maybe they got caught in some type of fire, with, like, I don't know, Cybermen, like, Time Lords, like, you don't need a reason. It doesn't matter. Just fucking accept it.
Now then, what can I do for you?
You could send any ass, but you chose the one with probably the biggest body count on Gallifrey?
You are one of the most evil and corrupt beings this Time Lord race has ever produced. Your crimes are without number, and your villainy without end.
Then do not send him and sentence him to death.
Nevertheless, we are prepared to offer you a full and free pardon.
He is an insane, murdering psychopath again and again. Why?
And it's at this point that I feel like they just, I don't know, glossed over what happens afterwards when they actually explain why, I think. I mean, like, I watched this video. I forgot to tell you that, didn't I? That I actually already watched this video, but I have kind of forgotten what they said in the video, which makes this kind of cool. Oh, and look at here, we've got Carol Ann Ford as Susan.
Carol Ann Ford! Why is Susan here? Yes, anniversary specials need callbacks and the presence of previously established and celebrated characters, but due to the art of storytelling itself, she needs
Again, yes, I understand that due to the art of storytelling, because of storytelling, people need a reason to be there. Yes, I completely understand that. And if this story was regarded as a normal story, then I would 100% accept this critique. But because this is a special, a 20th anniversary special, yes, 20 years of Doctor Who, because this is a special, it's fine to just bring back companions for celebratory reasons. It's fine. It's fine.
We were brought here. Perhaps the Dalek was too. Run, grandfather!
You should have started running as soon as you saw it.
I mean, yes, they could have started running as soon as I saw it, but they wanted to know that, well, I mean, maybe the Dalek was just on, like, a sort of route, you know, like a guarding route or something. You don't know where the Dalek was going to go. But as soon as the Dalek saw them, that gave them an indication that they should start running away. They don't know that the Dalek has seen them already, do they? Yes, it's logical, technically logical, that they should have started running there and then, but because they didn't know if the Dalek had already seen them, they wanted to start running as soon as the Dalek saw them. So there you go.
So you sent for the doctor?
We looked for the doctor, but he no longer exists.
At all? I know they haven't been established yet, but did you even check for his other incarnations?
Well, we're talking about the whole timeless child type of thing, where like his previous selves are. I'm not sure how to critique this part, so I'm gonna move on.
Why me?
Yes, why?
You would be useless to us dead.
He'd actually be even more useless alive. Give the job to He's actually
You know what? I'm gonna censor that out. Because I will never, ever, 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 ever accept that word. I am not even going to use the word in this video because I know for a fact it might get taken down or get feedback, but basically they use a very, very bad word just then, and the fact that he's actually comparing that name to the Master, it just makes this entire video just, no, I'm not accepting that. That's just, no, not good.
Why in an anniversary special of the Doctor's greatest enemies relegated to one Dalek and a 1-minute sequence? They are the Daleks and deserve more respect than this. This is an insult to the reason the show was even allowed to survive.
As much as it is an insult, and whilst I, to a degree, agree with that, unfortunately, production for the Five Doctors had issues. So, I think they wanted to maybe use more Daleks, but yes, because production issues arose when they were making this, like, it was, I think, hell for them, so they could only use one Dalek for this 1-minute sequence, which is a bummer, but I think it does sort of... If you look at the whole story, like, in the bigger picture, this Dalek is a little bit of an insult, but it can be overlooked by what else happens in the actual story, and if you don't know what happens in the actual story, then go watch it. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Then again, this whole video is a kind of a spoiler, but you know what? If you haven't even watched The Five Doctors, go watch it. It's bloody great. As much as people don't like the story itself, it's a fantastic and fun special to watch. And I am a Doctor Who fan. And I love it. So go.
Where the devil are we?
A shit ton of the dialogue is, why are we here and what's going on?
Yes, I mean, you're right. Shit ton of dialogue is about why we're here and what's going on, and yes, it's usually the companions asking that, because, you know, companions are human. Most of them are human. And when you're trying to level in with the Doctor, they ask, why are we here? What's going on? It's just a basic way of, like, trying to find out what's going on. What is wrong with that? It moves the story along, and it moves the sort of character dynamic along as well. There's nothing wrong with that, so fuck you for sinning.
There is evil at work.
Evil?
Hmm? We're in the death zone on Gallifrey.
How can you be so sure?
Well, the tomb of Rassilon.
You expect them to know what the hell that means?
This one, I will 100% agree with, actually, because when I watched the episode, and the fact that the companions sort of asked that, and then the Doctor just said, oh, to a Rassilon, like, it's to make the audience think that the companions should know this, but they don't, and I don't know, it does feel a tiny bit out of character for the Doctor to actually respond in that way, to expect the companions to know what's going on when they actually don't know what's going on. So, yeah, I agree with that one.
If Bessie is f***ed up now, how does he ever use her later?
Something called a timeline. And throughout Doctor Who history, when the Doctors are pulled up together to interact with each other, it normally means the timeline is getting fucked up in some way. And that's what I feel like is happening with also the Five Doctors. Once the Doctors are put back into their timelines, everything is back to normal. It's just with these specials, like, because the Doctors are pulled out of their timelines and into this sort of timeline where the Doctors interact with each other, basically anything could happen, and it doesn't really matter what happens. But anything can happen in the space where the Doctors interact with each other, but then when they're put back into their own timelines, they can just continue as they are. That's how I see it, because from what I know of, like, the 50th anniversary, which was the day of the Doctor, once the Doctors get put back into their timeline, they forget what happens when they interacted with the other Doctors, because it's like a corrupted timeline, and once they're out of the timeline, they just forget about what happens. And I don't know, if we're talking about timelines in canon with Doctor Who, sometimes it's inconsistent, sometimes it's consistent. All we can do really is just enjoy the stories that come out, really. Like, if you spend so much time trying to explain everything that's going on, you're going to go into loophole, into loophole, into loophole, into loop. You're just going to go round and round and round and round and round in circles. Just, all I can say is, just enjoy Doctor Who for what it is, and when it's really bad, like with the Chibnall era, then you can either enjoy it or you can dislike it. But I enjoy it for the most part.
Is this man a friend of the Doctor's?
He might be different, but that's still your grandfather, Susan.
He might be different, but that's still your grandfather. I need to have actually rewatched that part.
He might be different, but that's still your grandfather, Susan.
Yeah, but how is she gonna know that? Like, I mean, yes, they are her grandfather. You know what the whole Time Lord thing is? Just because they are her grandfather still does not mean she's gonna recognize them in a heartbeat. I mean, if they can, good. If they can't, then they can't. It's not really their fault. Then again, if the writing was better for Susan, maybe she would have recognized it. I don't know, you know what? Whatever.
Or you will be destroyed.
The Cybermen stop firing for some reason and continue to let the Doctor do anything.
I mean, yes, that's technically true. They do just stop for no reason and let the Doctor do stuff. But, you know, things happen. They don't make sense, but... Okay, I've got nothing.
Anyway, we can't go back.
Oh, why not? You've shaken the Cybermen off?
They don't get tired, that's why not, and they never give up.
Oh, no. I remember. Okay, well, let's go then. If I don't fall off that path, I'll probably die of fright.
Sarah Jane hasn't always been this impulsive, has she?
Not really. As much as I remember Sarah Jane with the Doctor, she hasn't really been that impulsive, but I guess spending time away from the Doctor can make them feel more, I don't know, action-oriented. Like, maybe, like, I don't know, they feel a little bit more confident to do things by themselves once they know what's going on. And maybe when she was, like, so long with the Doctor, like, maybe she wasn't as imperfect. So maybe, like spending a while away from the Doctor, and more so with K9, maybe she did get a little bit more impulsive. Who knows?
Their armaments are built in, and the sensors detect movement, any movement.
Anything else I shouldn't know?
Yes, they move like lightning.
This marvel of technology is a great concept that never makes its way back into the series. 10 cents.
You know what? I completely agree, because the Raston warrior robot, the thing that you just saw fly up into midair and just, disappear in the blink of an eye, which, moves at lightning speed, as they just said, that only appeared in this story, and it's a damn shame that it did not make its way back into Doctor Who, ever since. I mean, it could be way cooler now, maybe, but it is still a shame that it never returned, because the Raston warrior robot is one of the best, well, yeah, one of the best Doctor Who villains, I think. Well, they're the best sort of Doctor Who weapon.
Was that really necessary? Well, as you can see, he was armed and trying to escape.
He doesn't even get a chance to regenerate? Damn, that's dark.
I mean, you don't know that he is not going to regenerate. I mean, we only get a shot of him within, I don't know, a couple of seconds, and then the camera just goes away. We don't know that he's not going to regenerate. I mean, yes, he is just lying on the floor and he looks dead, but, people can look deceiving, and he may still regenerate, or maybe it's just their decision not to regenerate, just like the Master's decision in Last of the Time Lords to not regenerate, because Time Lords, they don't just regenerate by themselves. They have the decision to regenerate if they want to keep on living. If they don't, it's up to them, really, isn't it?
Doctor! Doctor, this way.
Mike? Mike Yates? How did you get here?
Same way as you. Liz Shaw is here, too.
Good heavens. Hello, Liz.
Dix brings back Yates and Liz, but not Benton.
Probably because the actor didn't want to come back, maybe. I don't know.
When you were returned to your own people, the Time Lords erased your memory of the period you spent with me. So how do you know who we are?
This is an interesting point. If the second Doctor is separated from Jamie and Zoe, then he should have been automatically sent to Earth in 1970. Why would the Time Lords allow him to travel before his exile?
He talks so quickly that I just didn't even get a word of that, but let's just continue
also,
on.
if you could get Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury, why not just have them accompany the second Doctor and have the Brigadier be the third Doctor's companion?
Did anyone get any of that? Because I fucking did. Do you know how many times I've had to go back and try to sort of understand what he's saying? Because he talks super, super, super quickly, he's under a clock. I mean, he technically is under a clock, but he doesn't need to be under a clock. But he's under a clock because reasons.
What does the inscription say?
Yes, I'd quite like to know as well.
Yes, we've all been through a great deal to get here.
It's Old High Gallifreyan, the ancient language of the Time Lords.
I'm sorry, but this is a bunch of mathematical symbols.
I mean, as much as they're mathematical symbols, still counts. Because, I mean, they don't exactly have, the productions or skills to, make writing look like high Gallifreyan, like they do in the Matt Smith era, the baby cot or whatever you like to call it. I mean, I understand why he's saying that. I mean, it does look like mathematical symbol equation thingies, but the whole symbolism still counts. Or the metaphor. Should I say metaphor? I don't know, maybe.
Killing you once was never enough for me, Doctor. How gratifying to do it 3 times over!
Just like Dr. Robotnik, or anyone for that matter, the Master doesn't recognize that killing the younger version would do him just fine. He doesn't have to go through the trouble of killing the rest.
Well, in a sense you're correct, but because it's this timeline, again, because the Doctors are interacting with each other, it's so confusing to, try and explain the whole timeline togetherness and all of Doctor Who is wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. We all know that. So, I'm just gonna say that maybe in this instance you'd have to kill all of them in order for the timeline to collapse, maybe? I don't know, this is hurting my brain too much.
Why does Barusa need to change clothes to commence villainy? Do we need to fulfill the bad guys wear black trope?
I mean, yes, we do. Because when people wear dark clothing, it symbolises that they are going down a darker path. Dark clothing always like makes people think that you're like, I don't know, a bit dark or something. Or maybe you just like wearing dark clothing. I don't know. Like, moving on.
Doctor, are you alright?
If you could get in here, then why the hell did we have to sit through this episode?
We sat through this episode because it's a celebration special episode. Having people come back and celebrate Doctor Who for 20 years. That is why we had to sit through this episode. You know what? Even though that's not the end of the sort of video, I'm done. I am done. Because I didn't expect to do it for like this long. I didn't expect to like, you know, say all of this stuff, but this is where I'm going to end it. Now, again, I just want to reiterate this, and as I haven't actually said it, I am not doing this video to put hate or negativity upon the person who created that video. All I wanted to do was just to like react to the video and just share my opinions, and I just wanted to do this because I thought it was fun to do. Like, if you guys actually see this video from this creator, please do not, like, I don't know, send hate just because of how much they are critiquing it. Because at the end of the day, either this is an actual critique that he's doing, which is a tiny bit questionable, but at the end of the day, it's fun. It's just fun to do this sort of stuff. If people made videos to be serious, I mean, to be fair, some people do make videos to be serious, but most people make videos for fun. They like to have fun making this content. So, that's what I want to get across in this video. And I am aware that this video is pretty long. I apologise for that, but if you enjoy this video, leave a like. And I will not be doing another one of these, like, ever again. This is like a one-off thing. Only because I like the Five Doctors. It's one of my favourite Doctor Who special stories, like, ever. And just wanted to see what they critiqued about it. And I wanted to see if I could come up with any responses. Now, I did, like, sort of skip over a number of critiques that he said, only because I have no sort of response to them, because one, he's a bunch of words that I just do not understand, and two, I don't know how to respond to some of his critiques. I only responded to the ones that I've sort of thought a little bit about. That's all. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you did enjoy, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everyone.